If you're a recruiter and someone told you to check out Salesforce, you probably got overwhelmed in about 5 seconds. There are so many different parts of this platform that you need to understand. So I'm going to break it down for you today and tell you the 7 Salesforce apps you need to know about if you're getting involved in Salesforce. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Salesforce for Recruiters. I was just like you. I spent well over a decade in staffing and recruiting roles and always had to use pieces of technology that never really fit what I wish they could do for me. And then I found Salesforce and I went, where has this been all my life? And since then, I've dedicated my career to helping both recruiters and Salesforce understand what this platform can do for our industry. And today, I want to take you through kind of a demystifying journey. Buying Salesforce is a huge beast. I mean, there are so many different things. You're going to have salespeople coming to you from all over trying to sell you different types of things depending on your project. But I'm going to break it down in simple terms so that you understand what you're buying and what you need to look for and listen for when you're buying Salesforce. And we're going to build from the foundation and we're going to start adding things in on top. So all of this comes down to the very, very basics. And we're going to talk about this in terms of almost like building a house. So in order to build a house, you need to have a solid foundation. You need to have that concrete in the ground so that you can start building from that. And in Salesforce terms, that's called Salesforce Platform. Now, platform licenses inside of Salesforce are simply just giving you access to Salesforce. You have access to a product that you can then build on top of, and you can kind of build anything you really want. You can add Salesforce licenses on top of that. You can add some third-party apps on top of that, which we're going to talk about. But at its core, platform, it gives you access to Salesforce.com with a login, and then you have the ability to start adding in contacts and everything else. So it at least gives you the foundation, so it opens up access to Salesforce, and that's a platform license. Next up, we need to talk about Sales Cloud. Now, Sales Cloud is the bread and butter of Salesforce. This is the one you're likely going to hear about constantly when you're talking to someone who's an account executive at Salesforce. Now, Sales Cloud comes in various levels and it just adds on features. At its very core of Sales Cloud gives you the ability to have opportunities and track leads and to kind of move things through a sales process. So if you want your sales team to have access to a platform that's tailor-built for them to run their sales cycle, Sales Cloud is what you want. Typically, you're going to look at what they've called in the past an enterprise license. That gives you a good balance of what they have available and not overbuying features that you're not really going to use. Now, if you're interested in it, look for features that include AgentForce because they do have a higher level Sales Cloud license that comes with AgentForce features. So it's something to keep in mind. But essentially what Sales Cloud is, it gives you the ability to add in that sales function inside of your Salesforce environment. Next up, let's talk AgentForce. So AgentForce is the agentic AI part of Salesforce. It gives you access to all the tools to build agents and actions and talk with it and be able to really just have an AI agent either in your system or interacting with your customers or talent or whatever it might be. Now, AgentForce comes in a consumption model. So they'll give you access to everything you need to actually build this kind of stuff, but you need to have credits that you'll consume as actions are taken inside the agentic platform. So they're going to give you a bundle of credits, and they're called consumption credits. I think right now they're calling them universal credits as the time of this recording. So what these credits will allow you to do is to build agentic workflows, whether it's talking to your own internal users, which you can also get through an AgentForce license, so it gets complicated, but let's just say you could talk to your internal users where they can kind of use it as a co-pilot of sorts, and then you can have it talking to external talent or hiring managers or whatever you might want it to do. You're going to consume credits every time it does something, every time it takes an action. So you'll get them in bundles. I think they come in bundles of something like 20,000 credits or something like that. It's a big bundle, but you'll use about 20 credits every time something happens. So just look for buying a bundle of AgentForce consumption credits, whatever they're calling it, the flavor of the day. Just buy a bundle of those just to start, just to see what you can actually start doing with the thing. So that's AgentForce. Next up, we need to talk about Data Cloud and all of those related types of resources like Mulesoft, they just bought Informatica, all of those different type of data things that they can sell you at Salesforce. What these are going to allow you to do through a couple different mechanisms. They're going to allow you to connect to your external data. So data that's not inside Salesforce, but you might need your agents or your users to be able to access that data to do what they need to do inside of Salesforce. So Data Cloud has different connectors to a bunch of different types of external repositories or data stores, whether it's Amazon or Box or all these other types of places that you could have all of your data, whether it's resumes or placement history, whatever it might be. It gives you access to all those different types of resources so that you can pull those into Salesforce. Now, it's not pulling the data in per se, not every time at least. It can look at those external sources and then use the metadata from that to know what it's about and then be able to store that inside Salesforce so you can access it, manipulate it, all that kind of stuff. So that's Data Cloud. Mulesoft allows you to talk to other programs via those APIs. So Mulesoft will give you those connections and be able to pull in that data in real time. There's all sorts of different data tools, but Data Cloud, Mulesoft, Informatica, those are the words you're going to hear. And it just comes down to what data are you connecting to or what do you need access to inside of your system. So that's Data Cloud and the associated tools. Next up, let's talk about Experience Cloud. So Experience Cloud is how you are going to have an external portal into your system. So the typical use case in recruiting or staffing is talent that needs to log in to do something related to onboarding or payroll or time tracking or whatever it might be. They typically use Experience Cloud to log in. Now, the way that this is priced is a little different depending on your use case, but what you can essentially think of this as is you're giving user licenses to that talent that are going to log in. And those are called Experience Cloud. Typically, they're member licenses or their logins. It just depends on your use case. So when it comes to Experience Cloud, just look for member license or a login. They're going to sell it to you in bundles. So if you have a use case where you need some sort of external user to interact with your system, that's going to come down to Experience Cloud is the thing that really makes that possible. And there's a big video of it here on the channel. If you go and look for Experience Cloud, I talk in depth about it. Now, the two tools I've saved for last are kind of the ones that I use all day, every day. I would suggest to every single person who's in recruiting to get these two apps. Now, first up is going to be Slack. Now, Slack, I realize everyone's talking about, oh, well, this is just a direct messaging tool between my teams and maybe a group of people. It's not. It is so much more than that. There's a video on this channel specifically about Slack and all it can do. But what it's turning into is the user interface and the work operating system for everything you need to get done inside of Salesforce, because Salesforce owns Slack. So that's why I'm talking about it here. So inside of Slack, you can not only create requisitions or job openings inside of Slack, but you can manipulate them. You can have people interact with that data that aren't inside of Salesforce through different Salesforce tools like lists and all sorts of different things that they have. So Slack is really going to be the thing that unlocks all of the data so that you can actually have all of that data inside where people are doing their work all day, every day. So if you have recruiters that are sitting in Slack, messaging each other, messaging hiring managers, messaging you as the leader, whatever it might be, they also can work on jobs right there and they can get notifications of things that are happening on their jobs. Or if I'm a salesperson and I want to get a notification when there are 5 people presented to my job, so I know to follow up with a hiring manager, you can have those things happen inside of Slack. So that's why I say Slack is an invaluable tool that I think everyone should have, because if I want to pontificate here, I would say that the future of Salesforce is Slack. People are going to be using Slack as their interface for what's happening, not only for AgentForce, but also for Salesforce. And then last, but certainly not least, you've been hearing all these different tools and you're like, wait, I do recruiting. Salesforce isn't set up for recruiting. It can be with the Asymbl applicant tracking system. So it's asymbl.com if you want to learn more about it. What the Asymbl applicant tracking system does is it takes that core foundation of a house that we've been talking about, and it gives you the tools to be able to put together the actual applicant tracking system that you want. It allows you to assemble those things. It gives you the hiring workflow. It allows you to manipulate that to whatever kind of stages that reflect you and your business process. And you can change that, whether it be by specific job or hiring manager or a company, if you have a different way you need to hire. And you can also set up all your different automations at those stages. So it just allows you to configure your exact hiring workflow, whether you're an external recruiter, internal recruiter, staffing manager, whatever it might be. It allows you to set up your specific, unique hiring process inside of Salesforce. So you also get to take advantage of all these other tools that we've been talking about, and it's all made possible and unlocked for you by the Asymbl applicant tracking system. So with that, those are 7 huge tools that you need to know about and you'll likely hear about through your buying process for Salesforce. If there's any other questions I can answer for you, or if they're coming to you with some products that I haven't mentioned here, I would love to clarify that for you and help you understand the buying process. So send me an email. It's hello@bradowens.com. I'm happy to help you with that. And please check out the Asymbl Applicant Tracking System. It's asymbl.com. And with that, I will sign off. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. This has been Salesforce for Recruiters. There's plenty more at salesforceforrecruiters.com. I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.